As the United Nations Special Rapporteur in the field of cultural rights, I am responsible for sports and human rights as well, because sports are part of culture, of course, and our identity for a lot of us. So last year, I sent a letter to FIFA asking them to reject any recognition of football clubs operating in the settlements as members of the Israeli Football Association. FIFA did not respond. So this year, and as more and more international organizations do confirm that we are talking about genocide, I decided to act on it together with my colleagues. We cannot pretend that it's business as usual. And football associations also cannot pretend that it's business as usual. I think that we had to be sure that we are talking about genocide. Genocide is the ultimate crime. It is the prohibition of genocide is one of the top absolute rights we have as collectivities. It is the one of the utmost values that the international community has decided to pursue. So we're talking about such a serious crime that we had to be absolutely sure that this is what we're talking about. So no, I don't think it has come too late. However, I do feel that it didn't have to be genocide. The gross and continuing crimes that have been committed deserved louder voices. My mandate did discuss about the crimes in Gaza and in Palestine since quite early, quite the beginning, and a lot of special rapporteurs have come out very bravely as well. No, I didn't face any pressure before the announcement. I am an independent expert, and I don't. No, I didn't feel any pressure. Of course, this is very much states would like to make this a political issue. So what I'm trying to say is that this is not a political issue. This is human rights, and we have to, act irrespective of the micropolitics and the geopolitics that exist in the world. And the states that want to pretend that this is a political issue and not a human rights issue make a disservice to their own inhabitants, because their own inhabitants and everybody in the world deserves the respect for the values we have all agreed as humanity, which is human rights. Unfortunately, sports associations in general have been reluctant to agree to act on human rights violations, although most of them do talk about how human rights are at the core of their work. And although we are not here, we're not just talking about violations of human rights, but we're talking about such a huge violation. I think that international organizations and states have tried not to act, because we are talking about powerful states, because states want to preserve the interests of their own inhabitants, and they are worried that they will face consequences, and individuals do face consequences. However, this is not business as usual. This is something extraordinary. And now we have evidence, not from me, but from independent, world-renowned experts, such as the UN Commission of Inquiry, such as 41 special rapporteurs, and the bodies become more and more and more. So sports associations have the responsibility to act. And also the states, and I hope you saw that in the statement as well, the states where the sports associations are based have the responsibility, the legal responsibility, to ask the sports associations not to violate human rights, and also the states where these football competitions take place. So we cannot stay without acting anymore. Unfortunately, I am not a political scientist, but what I do see is that they do not take action. And what I do see is that for days, a mere 4 days after the illegal invasion of Russia in Ukraine, some sports organizations were very eager and very quick to take action and exclude Russia as a country. So, we really have to remain consistent. And since we have done this to Russia, now we definitely have to act. I
If
also want to say, if I may, that before you asked me about the football organizations, I think it is extremely important to say that sports is about fairness, and the associations do talk about fairness. So in this extraordinary situation that we have now, the genocide in a place of our planet, we have to act quickly. And I know that they say UEFA, for example, has not acted because it said, oh, now we have a plan for peace. This plan is atrocious. This plan has not been made with the with the consent of the people who are the victims of genocide, and this plan has not is focused so much on the US acting as a neutral power, which of course cannot be done by a state, and completely ignores the United Nations. So I have another idea for UEFA. Why don't they take measures now? And once the peace is being done, maybe then they can accept Israel as in football competitions again.
and my
Uh, FIFA also rejected, I think it was last week or the week before. I think that they really need to meet again, and they really need to put politics aside and focus on such an extraordinary, terrible hit to our humanity and to the values we have as a humanity at the moment, which is prohibition of genocide.
yeah.
So I think that in general, we see that more and more inhabitants are becoming vocal. If you remember, last year we had, and at the beginning of this war, we had of this current attack, because of course, Palestine it did not become a matter only last year. It has been for a long time, but it has been ignored. So from last year, everybody was a bit numb. Everybody was trying to understand what was happening. Of course, the terrible attack to Israeli citizens and the hostages did not help. However, more and more now we see that people come out in the streets, in demonstrations, are very vocal. So yes, I think that maybe individual sports clubs are going to may decide to take matters in their own hands, and actually this is going to be really bad for UEFA and FIFA and sports associations because it's just going to delegitimize them. It's just going to be a discredit to them. They will always be the ones that did not take action to stop a genocide, or not to accept a state that is committing genocide in sports that is supposed to be a place of fairness and peace.